A fresh, brand new concept, something that was there but had to be developed. He created something people can't contradict, his own discipline. The idea was to pick what's best from every martial art, create a brand new one, which is free.
The freerunners have proved to Lys and France what they and their discipline are capable of. Our challenge to them is to bring freerunning to the rooftops of some of London's most famous landmarks. The architecture of London will provide them with a stage, and it will be used for a performance unlike anything that's ever been seen before.
Hurry up! Okay, lad. I'm a cat. I'm a black panther.
No.
Pink panther. Pink panther.
Pink pig.
Un panthère rose.
Pink pig.
Tu filmes pas, hein?
For the next 5 weeks, London will be home to Sebastian, Johan and Jerome, and home to a spectacular demonstration of freerunning. While work is underway to convince some of London's greatest landmarks to open their doors and rooftops, the freerunners must prepare themselves for their greatest challenge. It's time to get a feel for London.
Yeah.
I think living in big cities like London, it's a crazy life. People don't look around them. They go straight on, they go to work, then go home, then sleep, then wake up, then go. It's not pleasant.
I think life in the city is too stressful as it is. We see the city as a playground.
On voit la ville comme un terrain de jeu.
It's going to be a tall order to persuade some of Britain's most famous institutions to agree to have the freerunners performing, often at roof level. One place that's attracted the freerunners' attention is one of the grandest buildings on the Thames. Until 3 years ago, Somerset House was government offices and closed to the public. Their reaction to our interest in their roof was not unusual.
We thought you were mad and crazy and nuts, but we were really, really intrigued and incredibly interested. These buildings do speak about tradition and splendour and luxury and times past. They're steeped in history.
But will they let the freerunners perform on the roof? It's a question being asked of grand buildings all over London.
We'd love to be able to make it happen, but there's lots of things we'll have to consider first before we can say yes. We're a world-famous building, and if something were to go wrong in the filming of this, then it wouldn't be good for you or for us.
You think about a bunch of guys running around the rooftop of some of our most important monuments, like the Albert Hall, for example, is an extraordinary thing. And what I like about it is it's actually corrupting the original sort of use. It was designed quite carefully to perform a certain job, and the roof was not seen as a functional element.
For London's South Bank Centre, another location high on the freerunners' wish list, this isn't the first time a new urban sport has corrupted the use of its space.
think what's interesting about National Theatre is the way that the spaces outside it are used by skateboarders and all that kind of stuff.
It's an accidental space, really, isn't it? It's created by the geometry or whatever of the buildings. It leaves a space that people then find a use for that space. And I always imagine architects like that, don't they? That something unplanned happens.
Before any buildings will give permission for death-defying antics, the free runners have to visit each location to work out their potential moves.
It's all about experience. With practice, the eye comes to analyze. Here is a good location, here is not. Here is a location which is rich in obstacles.
Okay. You run here, and you jump here.
The more things there are to jump over, the more fantastic it is for free running. A principle of free running is that you must always go forward. There is always a path. From this point here, you can arrive at that point there. Whatever the path may be, you never go backwards.
Free your mind.
Not all of London's landmarks are buildings. One of the biggest playgrounds the free runners are exploring is HMS Belfast, a battleship run by the Imperial War Museum. Each location presents different opportunities for specialist moves and a different set of risks. For Sebastian, one of the biggest is a potential jump he spotted from one of the highest points on the ship. What he's proposing is raising eyebrows on the team and even surprises his fellow free runners. He thinks he can make the enormous jump from the top of the Admiral's Bridge down onto the gun turret, 2 stories below.
Mais pour être bien, je préfère être bien en haut, bien faire mon truc. Et tu sais, je me dis limite, on va avoir des surprises parce que je me dis, ça se trouve, on va vraiment arriver tout au fond là-bas. Be careful. It's not safe.
Every move and jump the free runners want to perform must be carefully looked at by the team's stunt coordinator, Jason White, a veteran of blockbuster movies including Living Daylights, Aliens and Indiana Jones.
When you land, you touch and then you roll.
Yeah.
Okay. My first thought was that, wow, this is really quite high. It was more the height for somebody to jump and land on their feet. I thought, well, for a stuntman, it would be really something. And I really didn't know very much about these boys. So I had sort of doubts.
Jason isn't the only member of the safety team whose nerve is being tested.
When I first saw them doing one of their jumps for real as opposed to on videotape, my heart was in my throat, I have to say. Because no matter what safety measures you put in place and how much planning goes into it, you still think this is inherently dangerous. It's still a dangerous thing to do. But you realise that the guys that are doing it are extremely competent. Physically they're built for it, they're very light, they're very strong. They've had years of training and experience. And that gave me a lot more confidence then for the other locations that we've been to, because I realised they actually have much more competence than even a lot of gymnasts, stunt people perhaps in this country that don't specialise in this kind of work.
And then, of course, when he then leaps over the rail and jumps on the passing barge,
this is not Bond for Living Daylights. No.
The free runners have visited over a dozen locations to choreograph their moves. While negotiations for access continue behind the scenes, they begin to physically prepare for the challenge ahead.
Practice is the most important thing in freerun. Without practice, you can't do anything.